Today we are going to look at the role of the gun in Africa. The grave mistake Africa has made and will regret forever is to accept the rule of the gun under the disguise of liberation, under the disguise of Pan-Africanism, by these selfish, centered, motivated freedom fighters, because that's what they use. These are the people who are more worse than dictators we have seen in the world. Can talk of Hitler, can talk of Mussolini, you can talk of Idi Amin in Uganda, you can talk of Mobutu. These current freedom fighters, they are more worse than those guys. But the difference is these ones of current, they use it under this disguise of democracy. And they have a well-drafted strategic plan. You can't not see it, but they are more worse than the previous ones. If we want to look at it in detail, then you need to look at the following. One, look at the time, the cause, why they went to the bush. What was going on? Because for them, they are normally warmongers. They don't believe in dialogue or power sharing. That's not their ideology. That one proves each and everybody who is presumed to be a freedom fighter that that's not the intention, because you can liberate a country through dialogue. We have seen it in South Africa against apartheid. We saw it in Tanzania, where Julius Mwalimu liberated that country, fought for independence without bloodshed. You can mention the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, what he did for Ghana and the rest of Africa for the time he was still alive. But these so-called freedom fighters, they don't believe in negotiation, mediation, and peaceful transition. They don't. That's number one. Number two, these freedom fighters are the most corrupt people I have ever seen in my life. These are the people who have accumulated a lot of wealth, and therefore they use that wealth to oppress the people, to dominate, to manipulate. That's why we don't have political position in Africa, because they are capable of bribing everybody to their side. Two, they use that wealth to consolidate their power and even bribe these international organizations so that they can always talk about good stories about them. These media houses, internationally or regionally or nationally. These are the people who have accumulated wealth, and mostly they don't invest in their countries because they don't see the guarantee because of their deeds. They normally invest outside. This shows you that they are not far different from the previous dictators we have seen. That's number 2. Number 3, these are the people who don't believe nor trust anybody around them, including their own relatives, their own families, their own children. That's why they normally have a tendency of diverting their children from other avenues to the army, to the military, so that their wealth is guaranteed. You can check in your countries and tell me if that is not the case. 3, among their children, they don't trust all. They will pick one. If they have like 4 or 3, they will pick one child. Because these are the people who have committed all sorts of crimes of humanity. These are the people who have offended everybody in the country, regionally, continentally, and worldwide, because they follow these politicians and kill them. So my question is, where do you expect them? If they are out of office, what guarantee do they have? That's why they recruit their children into the army and promote them at the highest level, so that once they are out, then their life is guaranteed. If you have not seen it, you can move around Africa and see. In Congo, we saw it. In Zimbabwe, we saw it. Currently, Chad, we saw it. In Malawi, you saw it. In Uganda, we are just waiting the time. It's in pipeline. And I suspect and very sure it will be a coup in 2031. The army will overthrow that government. And who will come in? The son. Because the army will endorse him automatically. Then number 3, these are the people who are always in talk of peace and stability of a country, mainly to please America, to please China, to please Britain and France, so that they can fund their hidden agenda, not for the people, especially consolidation of military. Because they are always afraid. They are always afraid of their welfare. They are always afraid of their life, their families, and their future. You can check. That's why we have all these doctored and cooked reports on developmental miracles in Africa, which is contrary to the loyalty on the ground. You will agree with me that minus beautiful airports, beautiful clean cities, beautiful buildings in cities, in our capital cities, is definitely meant to please these financing agencies, but move far away from the city and see the poverty, see jiggers, you see dirty people, you see hunger, you see all sorts of poverty. So what is the intention? The intention is one, to please America, to please these embassies around so that they can keep funding their hidden agenda. Number 5, they normally talk of peace and security. But in reality, that's not the case. Because you cannot claim of security when you don't have confidence or confidentiality and secrecy. Look at FBI. FBI is the trainer, is the monitor, is the funder. So which security are you talking about, you guys? That's a scandal. That's suicidal. That's a lie. You cannot talk of security when you don't have confidentiality. Your intelligence network is monitored by others. You should be serious. You should be serious. Then, number 6, they normally recruit or create a clique of people, a group of people, mostly 5 to 6 they work with. These are the people who knows the secrecy in the government, who work with. They normally use that clique to do their their uh, their plans. These ministers you see on TV, the MPs, the leaders, the local leaders, they are innocent people. They don't know anything. People who knows the future of the country are those 5 or 6. These are the people who kill, who execute all sorts of human evils. Then number 7, they are always rude. When you ask them, you journalists, you check, when you ask them accountability of the funds, moreover, borrowed, when you ask them about human abuse, human rights, torture, freedom of expression, you will not believe the embarrassment you will get. These are so-called freedom fighters under the disguise of democracy, under the disguise of Pan-Africanism. But I ask myself, if you are really a freedom fighter, why can't you account for the people you lead? Why do you need to be rude? If what you are doing is in good faith, what is the problem with accounting for your actions? That shows that they have a hidden agenda, but in a very well strategic plan you may not notice until you go deep to analyze, monitor, review their actions. Then number 8, they don't believe in transition. Don't talk about transition of power or sharing of power or dialogue. They want to die in office. Why? Because of the crimes we have talked about. They have offended. Where do you expect this person to go? Which society can accommodate him? Even the peasants themselves, they can get him. They can kill him. So that's why that's justifies their longevity in office, which most of the researchers and historians have failed to capture. Most reports don't indicate that. They just go for, but that's the loyalty. It's the crimes they have committed, the offense they have done to the people, to the ordinary people. Then, number 9, they are always pro people within first years in power, because they still remember the care we provided for them when they were in the bush, the shelter, the food, the health, the secrets. So they tend to keep that bond within 5 to 10 years. After, they don't care about you, about us. That shows how selfish they are, the greedy, their hidden agenda. You will meet them again when they are coming for these formality campaigns, when actually elections are already declared. Then I ask myself, why do you waste a lot of resources? Why can't you keep in your office and you run the country and achieve your intentions? Why do you pretend? But the fact is, they want to show America, Britain, France, and their financing agencies like European Union, World Bank, China, and IMF. But in reality, that's not their intention. And they will tell you that people have decided. Decided what? Especially in elections or referendum. Then they are always extravagant. Their ideology is, you take whatever you want. Take whatever you want, but do what I say. That's their slogan. Their slogan. But internally, they don't talk about it. But when you look at their behavior, you can easily inform yourself. That's why corruption practices have cropped up, is everywhere, in every angle of African countries. Don't think they have failed to fight it. No. For them, they think that when you eat, you will not ask or question their presence. And they have succeeded it. For most of them, 30, 40 years in rule. Because we have eaten a lot. We have consumed a lot. So you need to serve their interests. If you try to go aside, they will turn against you. All that wealth will go. They will take it back. So that's why we have such a cases. Then I think number 10, they tend to forget very easily. You can check in your countries and tell me, where are the demobilized soldiers now? These are the people who assisted them to capture power. But after demobilized, where are they now? They don't care. They don't know. They were used and dumped. These are our brothers and sisters. They are there in villages, dying of poverty, diseases, depression, regrets. They are there. You can check. What happened? Remember, these people were demobilized under the program fully funded by World Bank, the demobilization and social reintegration program. But what is the intention of this program? This program initially is meant to reduce the size of the army so that you remain with small, you can equip, you can train, you can motivate, you can remunerate in order to be professional soldiers. But these so-called freedom fighters, they have turned it to be a punishment tool for those whom they think may not accept their hidden agenda. Normally, these demobilized soldiers are brave soldiers, intelligent, confident. So what they do is just to eliminate them using that program. That's why they don't bother where they are. And you ask yourself, if the program included the social integration, what happened to them? Did they benefit? None. They are there. They are dying there in villages, begging. We are the ones supporting them. Check the reserved force. They normally have a tendency of creating a reserve force when there is a need. They call upon them, especially those ones we have mentioned, the courageous, the brave, the intelligent, because they know their skills in fighting. So the intention of reserved force is not social program, no, is to monitor them, control them where they are. That's the intention. So that in case of any war, outbreak of any war, they can be used again and dumped. That's the rationale. That's the intention of reserve force. So if you are there, you know you are not you are not so special. You will be used and dumped like the mobilized ones. Then lastly, I think it's our duty now to check ourselves so that we cannot be fooled again. Failure to do so, Africa will never realize her potential through these hypocritic and greedy people using democracy and Pan-African agenda. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.